jabbed at it a little bit, but her deflection game is so impeccable that she just start talking about, oh yeah, because I don't mess with that. I'm like, what you mean you don't mess with that, miss? Is you black or not?
Yeah, but all before they were saying she was black. They was pumping it. They was pumping the fact that she was black. And then once they found out that, hey, maybe she lied about that, you know what? Y'all need counseling. We need counseling now, huh? But you was just talking about how you was washing greens in the tub, trying to make yourself look more of a blacker woman.
Bro, the we need counseling is gaslighting 101, bro. That was crazy, bro. And that's why black men ain't going for it, bro. Because every black man can look at that TV when they see that lady and say, bro, I got a bitter ass baby mama just like you. I got a cruddy ass aunt just like that. We know a black woman that, we know a woman. I ain't gonna say a black woman. We know a woman that play them gaslight mind games all day, bro. Remind me of my baby mother all day. That's all I think about when she asks her a question and she starts spinning around the question, answer everything but the question. Yeah, they masters of deception, bro.
Nigga say everybody got a baby mama, dash ass auntie. That's true though. That's why when that believe all women shit came out, I'm like, what? Man, we all know that it's some women that lie, just like it's some men that lie. There's no perfect people. That shit is stupid.
Facts. And yo, it's crazy you say that, right? Because I don't really stand behind a lot of the stuff that do Officer Tatum say, but I was just watching one of his joints where he was talking about Doug Emhoff, and he was saying, y'all keep talking about believe woman. Well, I believe the woman that said Doug Emhoff slapped the shit out of. How about that?
Right. It's like it's a double standard. It's believe all women until one of the people that they like is on the chopping block. Then it ain't no believe all women no more then.
Exactly, bro. And it happened. We watch it happen all the time, bro. And I think the fact that people, the masses, don't really care. I ain't gonna say they don't care. They just don't bother to say anything. Like that's why people give you, we give you a lot of credit, Kwame, because you taking your name that you don't have to. Same thing. I look at Trump, bro. Y'all niggas ain't gotta do this, bro. Y'all ain't hurting for no cash. Y'all ain't got to be on here spreading no message that could possibly have you in the line of fire. All that. You ain't got to do that, but somebody got to do it. So the fact that you bringing your name, bringing your following, and telling us the shit that we need to hear, niggas gotta respect that, bro.
I better shut the fuck up before they have me hurting for cash, because that's what they attack first. They be goddamn first. I'm in about 3 court cases. Like shit.
He definitely
the color purple represented wealth and power in ancient times. Purple dye for snails used for snail use as currently, what is that? Tyrant purple, it equals dye for the kings.
As currency, I think he meant to put. I did see something about snail dye for currency. I seen something like that yesterday.
Snail dye? Okay. I ain't never heard of that. That's something new.
Yeah, check it out. I ain't really dig into it, but I did see it. But I just heard something crazy about down there in North Carolina. They talking about this lithium. They saying that it's a bunch of lithium in the land, and they wanna frack that. So the hurricane and all that stuff, they talking about people ain't getting their land back. Like people that's houses and stuff got ripped away. They saying the government confiscating their land. Like, bro, they doing them people dirty. And I think this time I feel terrible for them people, but the fact that it's happening right now before the election, if that don't open people's eyes up, bro, then we doomed, bro.
They said we will own nothing and we will like it. The song Purple Rain equals Purple Rain, get it now. He talking about Purple Rain. God. He's talking about crazy. What's up, Ray Day?
What's up, brother? What's going on, chat, man? How y'all feeling on this Sunday?
We doing good, but your background noise, your mic trash, or either you got some background noise going on.
Okay, it might be because I'm traveling, man. I'm trying to. Okay, hopefully that's a little better.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to chime in, bro. Man, first off, man, I'm glad you're doing it. You're doing the Lord's work, man, by putting this out here and exposing people to the truth and what need to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Just like my guy said earlier. But I wanted to get your take on, man, what you think about Magic, man? Magic coming out here water carrying for these Democrats, and trying to shame us into he went out there and specifically said, yeah, I want to speak to the black men. We need to get you out to vote. How you feel about that? Because my thing is, there's a lot of us going out to vote. We just ain't gonna vote how you want it to go.
Magic Johnson said that.
Oh yeah, you didn't see just yesterday he came out endorsing Kamala Harris and got up there speaking and said, yeah, I want to take this time in front of a mostly white audience. That's what he did. Well, it was a mixed audience. I ain't gonna say mostly white, but of course it wasn't too many men there. But he said, yeah, I want to say yes, specifically to black men. Y'all need to get out and vote. I mean, to me, that's a little racist, don't you think?
Well, it's a lot of money behind that. I told y'all not going to see an A-list celebrity, especially a black man, who go against the Democratic Party, because that's how you stay with a lot of money in your pocket. It's dangerous to do what I'm doing, because if you look at what they do, they use law enforcement to go after Trump, to go after anybody who is saying something against what they're saying. They use the criminal justice system, and they go after your pockets. And anything that they can go after, they go after.
And that's a key right there. But it's just, I find it odd that, I mean, Magic, he already sold us out on the whole HIV thing. They used him as the face of it. Mm-hmm. to get the black men and women to push that agenda. Because I mean, let's just keep it real, man. It's been 33 years. And this dude is built like King Kong, never been in no danger. His son, I think he gave his son to the game too, So, I mean, look, man, I grew up a Lakers fan, and it was because of him. I grew up a Magic fan. But hey, as I got older, I see the game. I see what it is, man. You push agendas and you get to live your life accordingly. And that's what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? It's sick, man. It's real sick.
And he not going to have a care in the world about nothing that goes on. If you say what I'm saying, they scrutinize your life, and you better be perfect, which no man, no woman is perfect. So they try to find anything about you to discredit you. But if more people see the truth, you can't discredit the whole damn world.
Right.
It's up to us. We can't look at no celebrities to stand up for you, because there's too much money behind it. Like LeBron was cool as hell with all the people that was around him until they get in trouble. Then he's out.
Yep, turn his back on him.
Up in anything, he's out.
Yep. And he won't even take no questions. They don't even give him the questions on it, man. That's how you know it's an agenda. And when it's like that they got something to hide.
Facts. They just dismiss it and it'll go away. You're like, we won't keep talking about it.
Right.
Oh, somebody just sent it to me too.
Now, there's a lot of black men in here, and I don't, not talk to other people, but this is important. Our black men, you got to get them out to vote. That's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on. And we got to make sure we help black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
So,
hey Kwame, before you
go ahead.
Did you see what he said?
I didn't understand it. He ain't helped me understand shit.
But he told on himself right then and there. You gonna say her opponent promised us a whole lot of things he didn't deliver on, but he didn't say nothing about her delivering nothing
right
to us. We just supposed to go because we're supposed to vote for her just because, because she claimed black, because she wear pearls, because she wash her greens in the tub. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say nothing of substance to say, hey, this is why you should vote for her.
He didn't say that Kamala Harris is in office right now and she didn't do jack shit but vote against.
That part.
She's the reason why we have inflation right now. She was the deciding vote for Biden's economic plan. She's the deciding vote on the tax on tips. She voted 33 times in the Supreme, in the Senate. So I don't understand why he didn't say that. She's been in office right now. We have the worst economy right now. So whatever Trump promised you, he was probably fighting Democrats every other day to get it passed.
Bro.
That's crazy.
When I
I
And
mean,
then he didn't explain nothing to get us to understand why we should vote for Kamala. Okay, Trump didn't do what he said. What is Kamala going to do? What are we understanding about her that we should vote for her?
they don't got nothing, Kwame.
they don't
They
have
just
nothing.
it's just they gonna keep on trying to. It's like deflection. Like I watched this dude, the body language guy, and he always break down any
Yeah, yeah, he
debate.
good. He real
And
good.
he show you like, bro, it's so much deception in what they saying and deflection. Like anytime you bring a issue to her, that's something that she know that is nothing you can say good about, she gonna deflect it and make it about Trump, bro. Like she great.
Mhm.
I think that's the only thing they tell her to do. And I think that's the talking points that she would, if she came on your show, she would tell you, like, yeah, Kwame. So when you ask her a question like, Kamala, what you gonna do for the economy? Well, I think the economy is great, but we gotta make something happen because my opponent, he's just gonna make the money. You know what I'm saying? Like it always get
Well,
flipped to
that
to
shit
the
sounds
opponent.
stupid to me because just think about it. If I was to ask, like, if one of y'all men got a girlfriend or a fiance or a wife, and I was to ask your wife, hey, why do you like this dude? How do y'all get together? And what do you like about him? Well, I'm with him, but my ex wasn't shit. My ex was just a horrible man. Would that make you feel like she like you?
Exactly. You a rebound nigga. That's what they want. They want us to keep her as a
Default,
rebound. But the
some
worst part
default
is
dick
you
and shit.
already in office. Like that's the part they leave out. Like you would think this lady was a brand new candidate the way she talked. Miss, you
Right.
got a seat in there right now.
This nigga American man talk about you Negroes ain't supposed to be speaking. Shut up and get behind your women, your woman.
Yeah, man.
Ah,
Only us do they do this to. They don't go to Latino population and do this. They don't go to the Japanese Americans. They don't go to nobody else and do this, but they do it to us because what they feel like is a consensus is that we think like kids. We emotional. We don't process information. You got to be
Right.
uninformed really to really go along with this. You got to be uninformed and childlike.
you
So
gotta be
they
naive.
well, that's what I'm saying. You gotta really not have, and there's people that you think are smart. They didn't went to college and got degrees. They might even have doctorates. And
Yep.
if you start talking politics to them, you'll get a third grade response from them. And it's alarming. It is, man. But
People don't
as
be
long as you got,
individual thinkers, bro. People think they think what they think the people want them to think. It's not okay to think your thoughts. I gotta agree with everybody. Like my man say all the time, go along and get along. And I think
Mhm.
people that make it in the world that get on a successful level is somewhere is some place of go along, get along, or else they gonna try to chop you down.
Yeah, and it's all or nothing with them. Like you said earlier, man. You got one talking point you don't agree with, and you speak out on it. Oh man, you out of there. You out of there. You is food. Like, look, man, get rid of them. They'll start attacking your character and saying you misusing funds. They'll go in on you. So that's the fear tactic that they use on when you get to them certain levels. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you, Stephen A. Smith, he walking that fine line. Mr. Hairline, man, they're gonna get him because he's starting to go against the grain.
He already
Again,
know how it go though. They got him before. When
right,
remember
right.
when Ray
But this one,
Rice,
this one gonna go down worse. It's gonna go
yeah,
down harder.
that was a warning shot. That was all that was. This time they gonna
Exactly.
definitely shut him down if he keep playing. But Stephen A, he know, like you say, he walked that line. He know where to draw the line at. You get what I'm saying? I don't he
Hmm.
don't give me tough enough to go ahead and cross the line and say fuck it, I'll deal with whatever come because he came at Gilbert and them because basically, well, I ain't gonna say he came at him. I'm gonna say he said something. He spoke against it because basically the same thing and Dion. Because when Dion told that reporter that he couldn't holler at him, and then the school told him that he couldn't come, Stephen A gonna say, oh yeah, the school shouldn't have did that. He felt like that because when he spoke out against that Ray Rice shit, ESPN sent his ass home. They ain't take up for him like they did Dion. You feel me? So
Right.
that he know how
So
that shit works.
his saving grace, what he feel like save him is he'll speak out on what he see as far as he know it ain't right, and you know, like he was saying, why is Kamala hiding and this and that, but then he'll tie all that in and say, well, yeah, I'm still voting this way, but like, man, you just killed everything you said, you
Yeah, that
know.
was crazy when he said that. That was the super contradictory. Yo basically did like a 2-minute ad for Trump, you might as well say, and then
Right.
said, still want to vote for her, but I want to vote for you because I like your policy. I don't want to vote for you just because I want to vote against Trump, but you is though.
But you are
But have
right.
y'all
So
heard the
what
new
incentive would
tactic?
they have to do something specifically for you or towards, you know, your situation if they know they got your vote automatically? I mean, it's just counterproductive. It's real retarded. So I don't know, man.
Facts.
It's
Have y'all
crazy,
heard the new
man. You know,
tactic though?
but they can't stop what's bound to happen because they keep showing you over and over that they don't care about the American people. It ain't just us. They don't care about America, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at
That's
what's
why I
going
say
on,
that
man.
storm, bro. That storm should show you, yo. If that storm don't show you, then you just
Yeah.
blind and simple, yo, because they
If,
doing them
if
people dirty, bro. I've been
if you
dropping
still
video
talking,
looking at the people that's down on the ground out there, people that's because they got, they dropped the government press conferences, but you got people on Twitter, and them people ain't they everything they saying is the total opposite of what the government's saying.
right? Yeah, because mainstream's job is to keep the status quo and not give you the truth. If it wasn't for like YouTube and Twitter, man, you wouldn't get the truth no more.
We'll still be voting blue no matter who.
What I'm saying, man. And see, what they still doing is fear mongering. Oh, January 6th, January, man, get out of here. If you can't see January 6th was staged, and hey, I got some beach property in Idaho for you right now for the low.
I don't
You
even
got to be
care
a
about
fool.
January 6th,
Nah,
bro.
nobody care
The
about that,
Democrats
man.
did way worse, bro. They done
Hey,
way worse things.
I can't take January 6th to the store and buy nothing with it
Exactly. We black people, we don't give a damn about no capital. Capital
at
ain't
all.
ain't helping us or hurting us.
Li-
So if they would have
Bro, you
knocked it
go
over, oh well.
go 100 yards towards the Capitol, act like you walking up to the door and watch somebody plain clothes. Like, hey, You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You can't.
Hold on. Let me put some respect on these super chats real quick because they rolling by. He said, Calvin said, there are videos of people that Kamala Harris locked up because their kids were with a disability missed too much school. I'm looking for that
I
video.
seen
Did
that.
anybody have that
I
Oh,
video?
the
seen that.
lady. Hey, go to
Send it to
Tone.
you,
Hey,
yo.
listen, go to Tone Talks. He got a video. He interviewed the lady. Tone
On you,
Talks.
it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Tone Talks, man. About a month and a half ago, he interviewed that lady.
I seen that joint, yo, and that's sad, yo. That like then
Yep.
I seen the dude that went to jail, light-skinned dude, he was locked up, and he said that he never spoke to Kamala. She did everything in her power to send that man to prison for a murder
50,
Oh yeah.
50
Oh yeah,
years.
I saw that
that
one.
he
I
didn't
played that
commit.
one. And salute to you, Kenneth. KB,
Yeah,
have you
man.
heard Elon Musk brought Starlink internet and aided to hurricane zones before our government? Without Starlink, they had no
Yep.
internet right now. Absolutely. Salute to
Yep.
Elon Musk because they was telling those
Yep.
people to go online and sign up for the services. And they're like, how they going to sign up for the services? They don't have no fucking internet. This
They
shit
said they
crazy.
ain't got
Yeah,
no
that's some real
phones, no
shit.
nothing down there for 6 days, man. No lights or
Nothing.
nothing. And
Water all over the road.
they keep talking about Trump faking. Trump really down there in the trenches with them people, yo, giving people shit, yo, bringing buses to town. Like, I ain't expecting I'm not sitting here saying the man is the best in the world. Whatever you think right now, and that man is down there in the field. He ain't Joe Biden ain't even know about it. They asked him, he said, I'm having trouble remembering what storm you're talking about. And then he was like, oh, yeah, they getting everything they need and everybody's happy. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. This shit that video with Joe Biden when they asked him about the storm zone. They asked Joe what's going on in the storm zone. Joe said, "Man, storm zone. I was having trouble remembering what storm you was talking about." I'm like, "What? Yo, this the president, bro. This ain't no lawyer or mayor. This is the guy who's supposed to be in charge." Talking about what other storm? Just for him to say they got everything they need down there and all the people are happy. Then I go scroll down my X feed to the next video and people ain't happy. People is pissed off. I got a video on my channel I was just trying to spread the word. It's a dude down in Eastern Kentucky. He said, anybody down there that need help, that needs somewhere to go, he said he got a couple acres of land. You can come, you can stay, you can get yourself together. Like, and the sad part is they turning people away from helping.
Yeah, that shit
not
crazy.
helping
Hold
you
on.
really.
Let me play a little bit of this
Go ahead,
Candace Owens. Let me play a little bit of this Candace Owens video about her finding out more about Kamala and the mainstream media not talking about it. Then I'm gonna go to that Tone Talk video. So if y'all want to stay up here, that's cool. If you want to drop down, that's cool. And then I'll bring y'all back up after this. So if you want to drop down or stay up, it's cool. But let me play a little bit of background music. Yeah, let's get to
it. He was actually Irish Indian.
You said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Oh, welcome back to Candace. 2 days is getting a little iffy on the details. You can see she does not want to engage in the conversation. And the answer that she actually gives is fantastic. It is just fantastic. And we need to now pick it apart. So she appeared on a show called All the Smoke. And she was interviewed by the hosts, which are former NBA players, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I want you to pay very close attention to her answer here. Take a listen.
What do you think when you hear people kind of questioning just the fabric of who you are?
Well, one, I don't listen to it.
Okay.
I'm really clear about who I am, and if anybody else is not, they need to go through their own level of therapy. That's not my issue.
Right?
My mother was very clear. She was raising two black girls to be two proud black women, and it was never a question. You know, it's funny because over the years, journalists, some, not most, will want to talk about it. And I say, okay, if you want to have this conversation, I'm prepared to have it, but sit down and get comfortable for a few hours. If you want to start talking about race in America, you want to talk about the 1/8 rule, you want to talk about what it means in terms of who you are perceived to be and the impact that can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you.
Wait, she said she was very clear on who she was, right? Hold up. Let me see. She said she was very clear on who she was. Okay. Kamala Harris is very clear on who she is. So let's see who she says she is, because she's so clear about it.
Yes.
You are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like our thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food, lots of rice and yogurt, potato curry, dal, lots of dal, idli.
Yes, Italy. That's a deep cut. Okay, it's kind of like a. So
Where did
we're
you get
doing
this
it the
recipe?
old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody know how, sure she was and how clear she was of what nationality she is, because, she's so clear about it. Because right then she said she was an Indian.
The
Oh,
greatest.
how did I do that? I didn't mean to just do that. How do I go back? Well, let me find it again. All right, there it is. No, this is a newer one right here. Wait a minute. Candace Owens got another video up? There it is. This is the one I'm looking for. This is the one I'm looking for. Anyway. All right. I'm glad that kind of messed up because that ain't the video I was looking for. I was looking for this new one where she already talked to the brother and the math ain't mathing, she said.
Conspiracy theory. So I'm now quite obsessed with the curious case of Donald J. Harris, obviously. Kamala notably has an estranged relationship with him. He's said that, she has said that, and we know for a fact that he was a committed communist, and he also married a woman who was similarly a committed communist. That is incredibly relevant, okay? So I decided to obsessively revisit his piece that he wrote, Reflections of a Jamaican Father. And this time I was like, I'm going to fully commit myself to finding out as much as I can about every single line of this piece, particularly, of course, pertaining to his missing mother, that's Beryl, Grandma Beryl, and his grandmother, Iris Finnegan, her great-grandmother that she was posted up with. And so I'm going to pull up this chart now so that you guys can follow along, okay? So we see Donald Harris, and above him, we know that his father is Oscar Joseph Harris, and then we've drawn this line across to Beryl Christie Finnegan. We just can't seem to find outside of that picture of her next to Kamala Harris, okay? And then, of course, above Oscar Joseph, we are told that his parents are Joseph Alexander and Christiana, Miss Christy Brown. So let's actually start, by the way, in the corner there, we have Iris Allen Finnegan. That's Beryl's mother, okay? That is the one that Kamala is pictured with on her lap. She's a baby. Donald says that he photographed that photo of them sometime in the 60s, shortly after Kamala was born. That is our Iris Finnegan. And I said, I'm going to start with her. I'm going to obsessively read this piece. He writes that she is Iris Nay Finnegan. He writes incredibly affectionately about her. What we know is that Iris was born Aura Iris Allen. Okay, it's important for you guys to remember that her maiden name is Allen. But we can't find her anywhere in the Jamaican newspaper archives. Donald tells us in his piece that her ancestry is just completely unknown to him. So he has no idea who this woman, who he alleges had one of the greatest impacts upon his life. He has no idea where she descends from. We also find it a bit off-putting that he doesn't mention her husband by name. He simply calls him Mr. Christie. That would be his grandfather. Just one mentioned, Mr. Christie, pardon. And guess what? We also could not find her husband, whose name is Patrick Finnegan, anywhere in the newspapers. It's odd because he tells us that they own a farm. He tells us that together, Iris Allen and her husband, Mr. Christie, who we believe should be Patrick Finnegan, he tells us that they own and operate an entire sugarcane farm. So surely I should be able to locate them in the newspapers, a business section, selling, buying something, but no, I could not. I want to be clear, that doesn't mean that we could not find them at
all. Salute to you, Kenneth Perry. And this is the part where this whole thing finna get crazy because she could find all these people that they named that were, that was her relative. But the problem is the people that they named that was black, that looked black, that gave them a black identity, they all look like they're the help, that they were indentured servants, that they just work at the farm. And then the lady that she actually discovers that was a communist, that was rich, that had a lot of money and was tied to slaves and having indentured service. So that wouldn't be, I grew up in a middle-class background like Kamala is trying to say. If you grew up in a middle-class background, you don't have indentured service. You don't live in some of the best neighborhoods in Canada. But again, salute to you, Kenneth.
All these people do exist. I can definitively tell you guys that Iris Finnegan did in fact exist. She just didn't own the farm. She worked it. She was an agricultural laborer. Okay. So how do we know that Iris Finnegan was an agricultural laborer and not a farm owner? Because of her son, Noel Pendergast. He listed her as an agricultural laborer on his documents for him to come into the United States because he was coming into work as an agricultural laborer. So I'm showing you those documents. Again, this is her son, Noel Finnegan. And you see it says, who is your mother? He writes down Iris Finnegan, and they ask what her occupation is. And he writes an agricultural laborer. Okay. So that is incredibly strange, I guess. First and foremost, if your parents owned a sugarcane farm, why would you travel to America for agricultural work on someone else's farm? I feel very deeply in my soul that he, and I'm referring now to Donald Harris, doesn't want us to look too far into this. He doesn't want us to know who his true grandfather is. That's why he just refers to him as Mr. Christie. It's likely not Patrick Finnegan. And of course, we should be looking further into why it is that every time we look up any of these people who he is telling us in this piece owned stuff, they owned stuff and operated things, it turned out that they were just workers. We also were able to confirm, I'm just taking you guys jogging memory, that Iris did in fact birth Beryl Finnegan. We found Beryl Finnegan's birth certificate. We know that Iris Allen is in fact her mother because she is correctly listed on that birth certificate. But oddly, we then find that Beryl too is listed as just a barmaid on her marriage certificate. Her marriage certificate, by the way, as we determined earlier, to a Lawford Newland, who similarly we saw was traveling into the United States as a laborer looking for work. What is going on here? Does this family have money? Do they not have money? Well, I'll remind you, by the way, that I spoke to Donald Harris's brother, and he told me that all of the kids had businesses that were handed to them by their father, Oscar Harris, that Donald and his two other siblings, were handed businesses. So what's happening here? Again,
I don't know if a middle-class family could just hand their kids businesses. I don't know, but maybe that was a different standard of middle class back then. A middle-class upbringing that you can just hand your kids businesses. That sounded like it was a little more than middle class. But the people that they're showing in these pictures, they're signed up as just workers. So how would they have money? It's a lot going on.
Do they have money? Do they not have money? This is getting confusing. So I decided that it was my duty to help Donald Harris with his genealogy. I wanted to help him determine who exactly Iris Finnegan was and why he doesn't know her ancestry. And I thought that the easiest way to determine it would be to look up some records for sugar plantations, because obviously if you're owning a sugar farm, there just has to be some sort of a record for how you inherited it, right? Because we know these were initially plantations that had slaves, and I'm sorry, you weren't just casually putting together a sugar plantation and not having to have any documents whatsoever. He lists in his piece that she worked on the Thatch sugarcane farm. Strangely, I could not find a record of the Thatch Walk sugarcane farm that he listed. I did, however, find a Thatch Hill sugarcane farm, and that was in the exact same St. Anne parish in Jamaica, but the owner of that farm was listed as an Eliza Brown. Brown. Now you're going, Brown. Wait, why does that sound familiar to me? What's wrong with that? Because that's the last name of the other side of Donald J. Harris's family. So something doesn't feel right here. Again, let's just pull up that family map again so I can slow this down for you, okay? Donald J. Harris is supposed to be the son of Oscar Joseph Brown Harris. We didn't put Brown there, but Oscar Joseph Brown Harris, because his mother, you see there, is Chrissy Brown, okay? And Beryl Finnegan, Iris's daughter. But now it's starting to look like maybe that Iris Finnegan worked for the Brown Harris side. Like, what's going on here? Weird. But I said, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just take a closer look at the Brown side of the family, who he acknowledges. Like, we had slaves, like that was a thing. We owned plantations. We established Brownstown. He was very honest about that and forthcoming in his piece. So we're going to take a look at his family tree, and we're going to focus on Christiana Brown. Okay, that's supposed to be Oscar Brown's mother, Miss Chrissy. And Donald has told us actually a lot about her in this piece, but we've only got this one picture. And like I said, every one of these pictures, for me, it just looks like a worker that is wearing her Sunday's best. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I don't know. That's the way these pictures look to me. And that's not the way that he's presenting it. And like I said, he tells us a lot about Christiana Brown. He tells us that she's a descendant of Hamilton Brown, who's on record as a plantation and a slave owner, the founder of Brownstown. He tells us that it was her, that woman, who sparked his interest in economics and in politics, simply by him observing her and listening to her in her daily routine. Okay, so she was very into politics. He tells us that she owned and operated the popular dry goods store on the busy Main Street leading away from the famous market in the center of Brownstown. Okay, so she's a store owner, and he says in the piece, every day after school, I would go to her shop to wait for the drive home to Orange Hill after she closed the shop. She never paid much attention to the business of the farm at Orange Hill. Her sons took care of that side of the family business. Her constant focus was on the issues that affected her business of buying and selling imported dry goods, as well as the cost of living, issues that required understanding and keeping up with the news, a task which she pursued with gusto. He goes on to write, there was a daily diet of politics as well. She was a great admirer, okay, this is important. She was a great admirer of Busta, Sir William Alexander Bustamante, the chief minister in the colonial government and leader of the Jamaican Labour Party, the JLP. She claimed with conviction and pride to be, herself, Christiana Brown, a laborite, as the members of the JLP were called, and for the interesting reason that, as she argued, labor is at the heart of everything in life. Little did I know it then, what I learned later in studying economics, that my grandmother was espousing her independently discovered version of a labor theory of value, okay? That's what he says, end quote. I want to show you that guy again, who he says his grandmother idolized and she loved him.
So her grandmother idolized and loved this white man. And damn you, Jan. Her grandmother idolized and loved this white man. It's all crazy. All of these first black everything seem to not be really black. They're not FDA black. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we ain't never had a first black president yet. We ain't have a first black man president, and this is not going to be the first black woman. I believe both of them were handpicked, and they're not FBA. No black mama, no black daddy. I'm gonna think that the first person that become president that has a black mother and a black father, that's gonna be the person I say is the first black president. But I just don't think that'll ever happen. And a black woman that came from a black woman and a black man, not an overseas man, not some man that's over here, not some man that was just a black man. I don't think that's going to happen though. But, you never know.
Him because he was a laborite. So I really focused on that. I was like, who is this guy? Who is this Busta, Sir Busta, that she admired? This guy is very important to Jamaican history, to Jamaican politics, past and present. He was a man that was actually...
Nuh-uh, bro. You gaslighting, bro. You gaslighting. Jamaican is a nationality, not a race. Man, her father Jamaican, bro. That's black, bro. Shit. What you talking about, bro? That's black. You niggas always bootlicking for Trump. Shit.
actually born William Alexander Clark, and he would go on to become the first minister of Jamaica. He's an unbelievably shady character, okay? He left Jamaica at the age of 21 to go to Cuba, and then there's no trace of what he did for 30 years. When he came back, he was a trained commie. He was ready to overthrow government establishments by establishing all of these unions, these worker revolutions that could essentially reshape governments, getting people to riot, okay? We call these color revolutions. The American CIA does this all around the world. You think there's like a normal uprising that's taking place in Ukraine, and then you find out like, wait, why is John McCain in the middle of this, getting people to revolt? And then all of a sudden we are establishing someone as the president. That is the idea of a color revolution. So this guy disappears for 30 years, comes back to Jamaica, and all of a sudden he's organizing regular people to riot and to overthrow. And effectively, people do this so that they can establish power for themselves. So the workers, the working class people think that whatever they're saying to them is because they really care. You're not being treated fairly in this factory, and you need to have the minimum wage. It should be higher. You should be making more for your family. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're rioting, they're overthrowing people that are in power, and who they actually place in power are the people that organized it in the first place. It's just a good old fashioned commie revolution. Something else of interest is that he also, aside from being arrested by the American government once for, doing commie things and staging these sorts of riots, he also called for the genocide of Rastafarians. Look at this headline. This is a headline of somebody going back and revisiting. Bring in all Rastas, dead or alive. Now, if you're American, you don't know much about what a Rastafarian is. You do know who Bob Marley is. Bob Marley is hate rate Rastafarian. Now, if you're American.
Wait a minute. In 2023, somebody put this in the paper. April 7th, 2023, bring all rosters dead or alive? What the hell? Jesus Christ. If this was really going, and so Kamala Harris is connected to these, or their grandparents, so ultimately her is connected to these people? 2013? I thought they were talking about something that happened way back when, like in the 50s or the 60s, where people was doing crazy stuff. But in 2013? Yeah, it says 2013 in this paper, April 7th, 2013, published April 7th, 2013. That's crazy. I thought she was talking about something way back when. She talking about it in 20, that's not too long ago. That you can print something like this, bring all rosters dead or alive. KB feeling good. I said 2023. Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah, that happens. Get up here and do YouTube. You'll see. You'll say a lot of shit that's fucked up. But thank God for the chat, because you guys are paying attention to every goddamn thing. So I need some swagger. That's the problem.
American, you don't know much about what a Rastafarian is. You do know who Bob Marley is. Bob Marley is hate rate Rastafarian. You probably have a depiction probably of just Bob Marley, like, oh, they smoked pot. Yeah, well, in reality, they were like this religious, socio-political movement of, you had Africans who, after being enslaved, really thought that their enslavement was intentional. Many people who believe this today, that they came from Ethiopia. They were actually incredibly peaceful. They came from Ethiopia, and they felt that they were the people that were being spoken about in the Bible, and that they were that there was this intentional African diaspora all around the world to remove Black people from their roots. And so these people, this guy, he gets into power, and they actually were incredibly effective in Jamaica in terms of organizing for themselves. They lived in their own encampments, and they also had like agricultural unions. Like they were growing crops and things of their own, and so they were very well established all on their own. And what ended up happening was this guy essentially said that they were dangerous because 6 of them got into trouble, and he said, bring me all of the Rastafarians, dead or alive. And what ended up happening is they started rounding up Rastafarians. I'll actually read you specifically what happened to some of those Rastafarians on his call, because again, he was incredibly powerful. It says on April 12th, Good Friday, Prime Minister Alexander Bustamante, because again, he went on to become the prime minister, ordered the arrest of all Rastafarians that are alive. Police and military forces entered working class neighborhoods and Rastafarian encampments, detaining Rastafarians and forcibly cutting off their dreadlocks. Many Rastafarians were tortured and killed, with estimates suggesting that as many as 150 individuals were detained. So the reason that he ordered for them to even have their dreadlocks forcibly cut off is because it held spiritual meaning for them. Absolutely sick, absolutely disturbing, all of this true. And it's way worse if you look into this guy. I mean, there was like mysterious burnings of all of their crops, particularly when Winston Churchill was visiting. That's another rabbit hole you can jump down. But I wanted to just tell you who this guy was, because he makes a note of this in his piece, Donald J. Harris, that Christiana Brown loved this guy. That was her political vision. She loved Bustamante. He just adopted that name, Bustamante, maybe to make it sound like he was a person that was for the people. Who knows? So we thought surely this powerful woman, going back to Christiana Brown, who
it says funneling emergency money to aliens. KB for thank you, KB, for funneling the knowledge all about the, what is that, coconut tree. Funneling all the knowledge about the coconut tree. I think that's a coconut. Appreciate you, bro. Kwame, that was in the 60s. Buster was the first prime minister of Jamaica, from colony to so-called independent. This was from the 60s. The paper said 2013, not 2023. So I don't know. If you're saying that the paper was from the 60s, then I don't know. I'm just saying the article said 2013. Well, this lady looks like, she don't look like royalty. She look like somebody who cleaning up. Was that a royal dress back in the day? if that's what a royal dress looked like back in the day, then maybe I stand corrected, but it looked like she was cleaning up to me. Damn.
Who was involved in politics, speaking about politics every day in her dry goods store. And she was so accomplished. She has these stores. She's, like I said, deeply seated, speaking about the Labor Party. She must be mentioned in the newspaper a few times. I mean, there's just no way that we're not going to be able to find her in a newspaper article. And indeed, we did find her. We found her, strangely, as a potential witness to election fraud. Christiana Brown taking the stand in a case pertaining to election fraud. Yes, it is about to get completely crazy. So I hope you guys are following along and this is all making sense so far. Stay with us. We're just going to throw it really quickly to one of our advertisers and get right back. Now, what we are covering is obviously insane here. This election season has been the most insane. We really don't know what is going to happen in November. But there is one thing that I know. I'm definitely still buying gold and silver. The United States has $35 trillion in debt. There is no better time to protect your money and savings while you still can. So go to CandiceLikesGold.com. You'll learn about the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, and how they can help you. They are a great company that is top-rated with over 6,000 five-star reviews and a whole bunch of awards. Not only do they support my show, but my listeners can get up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver on qualified orders. Oh, this time, Alan. You remember his claim where we found Christiana Brown in the Kingston Gleaner. I am showing you the headline here. Witnesses claim they received money to vote for Mr. Allen. You remember, Iris Allen, her last name was Allen. Okay, maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about this case because it's super long because it's actually a transcript, which is incredible that they used to print this in the newspaper, but it was a full transcript of the court case that was happening. And this was an election petition. So in 1944, Christiana Brown was made to testify because there was a political election between a guy named Harold Egbert Allen. Harold Egbert Allen was Busta's protege. He eventually went on to become his finance minister, okay? So he was the person that was running, and obviously you could imagine Busta wanted this guy to get elected. And he was running against a guy named T. Adrian Gray. Well, Harold did, in fact, win the election. And remember, Christina, according to Donald J. Harris, was allegedly obsessed with Busta. So surely I'm thinking she must have been very happy that the Labor Party protege, Busta's protege, won. Well, that's where it gets interesting because she was testifying because she apparently had witnessed some guy named S.P. Nugent paying her niece to vote for Allen. So it became this massive scandal because they were quite literally paying people to vote for Allen to get him into office. And so she told the truth to the police officer. She told the truth on the stand. And she just told them, yeah, I witnessed this exchanging of money. Her niece denied it. But I just think that that's quite strange because shouldn't she be happy with this outcome? I'm going, what's happening here? She's on the team of labor. She was devoting her life to speaking about this in her dry goods store. But then buried in this article is an explosive detail in the midst of all the testimony. When the judge asks her, Christiana Brown, what do you do for a living? She answers, I'm a washerwoman. I said, what's a washerwoman? A washerwoman is a woman who quite literally washes, just what it sounds like, just that simple. It means that her job was to wash the clothes and the sheets and to hang them out to dry. Now let's again bring up that photo of Miss Chrissy that Donald shares, okay?
Yep, that looked like a washerwoman right there to me. Hold on. Rochelle, good day, people. At the person in the donations or chats to help Kwame understand. Okay, salute to you, Rochelle. I didn't know the show was about helping me understand. I thought we were all trying to help each other understand. I don't understand all this shit, not pretending to. That's why we're listening to people like Candace Owens and a lot of other people. I'm just bringing y'all the information. I don't want to be on trial. I'm trying to understand along with y'all. And if you get it, don't hesitate to text, or I put comments up with the super chat or without. So let's not turn this into an argument or jump on Kwame shit. Sometimes I'm texting on my phone. I'm doing other shit. So if you guys know more than me, come up and share your opinion. I fuck with y'all. And appreciate everybody who super chatted. I appreciate everybody who trying to give me some information or the chat. You know? Miss Rochelle talk about, oh my God, Kwame. Hey, listen, I'm sorry if I'm not understanding. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, okay? But thank everybody for passing around the information. Anybody who texts in here. Odom Speaks, a lot of times I'll put up his comments because I know he be on it, Biz 101. And even you, Rochelle. Hit the link. It said, man, my messages is so powerful. They're not letting me speak my piece. In the chat? They're not letting you speak your piece in the chat? Free KB. Man, let me get back to the video.
Sitting outside, like I said, looks like a woman who's wearing her Sunday best potentially for a picture. I never felt that this was a woman who was running a dry goods store and had an active life in politics. I rather did feel that we were missing something here. Why would Christiana Brown, in this case, tell the judge that she was a washerwoman? Maybe it's because Donald is lying about everything. I want to be very clear here. I believe that Donald did know Christiana Brown, the washerwoman. I believe that Donald J. Harris did know Iris Finnegan, the agricultural laborer, and her daughter, Beryl, but I do not believe that they were his kin. I believe they worked for his kin. So what does that mean? Well, it means that it's likely that whoever Christiana worked for, whoever's laundry it was that she was washing, were very politically inclined based upon the questions that were being asked of her in that examination. Again, we'll include a link for this on Locals. You can read this yourself. But the questions that they're asking her, it implies to me that clearly wherever she is working, there's a lot of political action happening around her. And if her niece was given money to vote for Alan, it was likely because Alan's political team knew that they worked for a family, that her niece worked for a family that supported Alan, right? You wouldn't go around with cash, giving it to these low-level workers on a farm if you weren't sure the people who were running this farm were friendly to your campaign. So that made me go, okay, that name, the last name Alan is at least familiar. I now know that he's connected to Bustamante. I now know that Donald is lying about even Christiana Harris. That's every single relative that they have presented a picture of. They are lying about what they do, and we have documentation of the fact that they are lying about what they do, that these were workers, and they effectively stole their identities and turned them into someone else. So I thought, let me look into this guy who was running, this Harold Egbert Allen, Bustamante's protege, so to speak, that had agents that were going around trying to rig an election with cash, allegedly. Allegedly. I didn't actually see what the conclusion of the case was, but I'm going to guess, given the amount of power that Bustamante had, that he won the election and that the case was just shut down. So again, I'm gonna show you this guy again, this Bustamante guy. I start looking into him, and there's some curious facts that came up. Curiously enough, he was married to a woman who came to be known as Lady Idris Allen. Idris Allen. Now, this is pure speculation, but in my head, I'm just taking you through my thought process. I was like, that sounds like Iris Allen, but it's Idris Allen. Okay, whatever, but like that's who he's married to. And then I sort of came to the conclusion that actually that Idris Allen, you can show a picture of her again, I think she's the real person who raised Donald Harris. I believe that she is actually potentially Donald Harris's true mother. And it's why she doesn't speak about Beryl and he won't speak about his mother, because I think that is his mother. I'm going to tell you why. Idris Allen began her career as a clerk working at a dry goods store called Sherlock & Smith. She soon began working at a department supervisor of another dry goods store, Nathan & Co. Limited. And she worked and operated that store for 10 years. And of course, don't even get me started, she was steep in labor right politics because look who she eventually married. They stayed married for 10 years or a little more than 10 years. They got married in 1941. And then he literally, it says, died suddenly in 1953. So they were married for 12 years. She fought extensively for social welfare programs, otherwise known as hand your kids to the state. She was a good commie. And let me tell you what's interesting about that. You see, I noticed this thing that it tends to be the people that
Dang, that's interesting because Kamala Harris was in like the same game. She was locking parents up for truancy and things like that. Where did those kids go when the parents went to jail? That's another question. Where did the kids go when the parents went to jail? Were the kids wards of the state? Because it seemed like from what Candace Owens is detailing, a lot of these communist people get into food programs and things to help the community that they destroyed. And just like Viral Industry said, it seems like Kamala Harris is using the photos of people that was her indentured servants as her parents. And that don't even make sense. You want to be black this bad? They think black people are this dumb, or are we that dumb that all we need is somebody in blackface or that we think is black and that's it? Damn. Cold world.
Fight the hardest for social welfare programs. When you look into their families, it turns out that they were the ones that owned the slaves. Why do you think it would be that the people that owned the slaves and clearly did not believe in social welfare suddenly became the most vigorous, loudest voices for social equality? These were the people that were establishing the unions. Does that make sense to you? You have to actually think like a slave owner for a second, right? So you're a slave owner, you're running a plantation, business is good. Like you are the boss of everything, okay? It's like, yep, don't care what's happening to the slaves, whipping slaves, turning out profit. And then suddenly the government says, no more slavery. We're gonna pay you for your slaves like they did for the descendants of Hamilton Brown. We know that Kamala's family got what would effectively have been $11 million for their slaves. The British government did pay them for their slaves in Jamaica, okay? But you're not just gonna be like, cool with having lost all of your power. You're going to organize and figure out how to maintain your power again. You don't just go, oh, well, now I know yesterday we were whipping you, but now I love you, slave. That doesn't make sense, okay? So slavery gets abolished, and in about 1883, the UK abolishes slavery. Or I guess the British Empire abolishes slavery, and that means Jamaica, and that's why they've got to release their slaves. And most of the slaves stay on. Like my grandparents' descendants stayed on and became like sharecroppers. They just worked the farms because they didn't really know what to do with their lives. And then those slave owners got together and started planning, like, how do we just re-enslave them in a different way? And that tool to re-enslave them is government. You get your family involved in politics, and then you tell those former slaves that you're fighting for their freedom. And all they have to do is keep fighting for more governance. What is more governance? It's slavery. It's slavery.
Man, that's crazy, because these niggas do think they're fighting for a good cause, boy. These niggas that be mad and fighting for these Democrats and all this shit, they don't fight for their own causes. They fight for the very same white people that enslaved them. Byron Donalds explained this whole big switch that most people are under the impression that happened one day. But all of those members, those Democratic members, they stayed Democrats. They didn't switch to Republicans. So it's like they think they're fighting for some good cause. They think they're fighting against racism by voting the same way over and over again. So you have people saying that you're against the black community. They're not looking at the results that, hey, you're voting against the black community. The community as a whole keeps getting desecrated. And just because you keep showing me Steve Harvey, LeBron James, Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, a couple few Roland Farton, a couple of few Negroes that made it, that's not showing the black infrastructure as a whole. We have no infrastructure. We have no black town that we can spend money in. Niggas still talking about, what about when they burned down Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street? Why haven't we built Black Wall Street again? It's simple to do. Go get a store in the hood and put a black shop up, and then another nigga put another black shop up until you got all the grocery stores can be black. The same way the liquor stores are ran by the Arabic. The reason why it's hard to get a liquor license, I would know because I owned a liquor store in the hood, but it's definitely hard to get a liquor license. Oh, but did I learn the way to get it? I learned how to take myself and put myself in the back burner, put somebody else in front so they don't know it's me, give a county commissioner a couple $1,000s, tell them what I want passed. Somehow the county commissioner will make sure this said thing that I want passed. But if you try to go outside that commissioner, outside of giving them a couple of $1,000s, you know, I won't say how much. Allegedly, I think I snapped. But once you do that, somehow you'll get a liquor license. They call that playing the game. Anytime you need a permit, you got to play the game. You got to, you know, find the aldermen, the commissioners, make a small little donation. And then when you come across their desk, they somehow make sure you get your stuff passed. But it's no, you know, just doing all the straight up business like this. It's weird. You say the wrong thing, they don't want you to get permits. They don't want you to get nothing. You say you like Trump, they don't want you to get nothing. The last thing the hood needs is a liquor store, but it's there though. And they're all owned by Arabs. So regardless of what you keep saying, the last thing a hood need is a Chinese restaurant serving us fried chicken and shrimp fried rice too. But they there. Last thing the hood need is shootings every night, but it's there. We talking about industries that's in our neighborhood that are thriving, and most black people still got to be bootleggers instead of owning the liquor store. Why the black folks got to buy from the white folks to bootleg, or the Arabics to bootleg, but the Arabics and everybody else can own a liquor store and have all us niggas buying from it? You don't need to be drinking, period, but you still drink. Let's try this again. If you add the person in the chat or in the donations, Kwame will understand the message is for the person in the chat, not him. Oh, Rochelle, thank you. I understand now. Because I'm reading donations that I'm thinking is for me, okay, or directed towards me. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, none of the stuff that we buy the most, we own. And I find that to be a problem. None of the stuff we buy the most as a whole, we own or have ownership in. Yeah, all the gas stations, let's say gas, since that's easier for you not to argue about. Where can you go to get gas, get you a carton of cigarettes, get you a soda water? Where can you go that you spending that money with somebody black man or woman in your neighborhood? If you wanted to go, let's just say there's a few household items you needed. You needed some bleach, you needed a t-shirt, normal shit. You needed some bleach and some washing powder to wash your clothes. You wanted to get some soda, some juice, and you just wanted to get some cigarettes. A lot of people smoke. Where could you get that where you're not spending it with any other race? Because every other race, the things that they like, somebody in their race or their culture make it. Chinese people, they want a Chinese dish, they go to all the Chinese restaurants. They want a Korean, Asian dish, they go to an Asian restaurant. If I want some fried chicken, I go to the Chinese restaurant. How does that make any fucking sense? If I want some fried chicken, I got to go to the Chinese restaurant. And if we got a black restaurant, it got to be in opportunity zones and in neighborhoods that nobody don't want to go in the first place. It ain't on no nice waterfront where I get nice scenery. I can sit outside and I can eat. In my hometown, all the black restaurants, majority of them that ain't doing business with white folks, they 2 or 3 blocks over from the shit plant. Yeah, they're 2 or 3 blocks over from the actual shit plant where they process waste. And so nobody's going out there to sit out at those restaurants when 2 blocks over they processing manure and urine and all the waste in the city. Nobody's going to that restaurant when it used to be, the neighborhood used to be a prostitution strip. And they still selling drugs around the corner. I'm not doing it. But everybody else can get funded for a business on the main strip, on the main drag, and they'll get their stuff funded for a year, maybe 2. And that's it. All of the black businesses, they open in the same building, they close in the same building. And then everybody pat everybody on the back and say, hey, we gave an opportunity. It was an opportunity zone. There's no opportunity in that zone. That's why nobody or no business of any merit put a business in that zone. There's no Walmart near there. There's no Target near that area. They do a tax analysis. They see if this is a thriving area. There's no business like that in that area. It's crazy.
but you dress it up as freedom. You know, you're like, oh, social welfare programs. Like, we're going to have your kids. We're going to raise your kids. We're going to do this. We're going to offer you free handouts. And suddenly next thing you know, you're being taxed into oblivion. And all of your money, all of your earnings, you think you're working and you're independent, but your earnings are actually going to the very same people that enslaved you. So yes, I find it interesting that Idris got so involved. The descendant of wealthy slave owners from Barbados got so involved in labor politics and was really cared about social politics, wanted to make sure about the social welfare of people was okay. What does that